Hello everybody, welcome back to Around the Campfire podcast. I'm Harry from the Hazy head office and I am here with someone very special today. I will let her introduce herself, so I'll let you do that now.
Hi, I'm Jess. Thank you so much for having me on. I am a third-time returner this summer to camp, through AmeriCamp for 2 summers now. And yeah, I love camp and I'm excited to chat more about my journey and AmeriCamp in general.
Yes, and I can't believe that you're a third-year returner, Jess. That is so exciting. Can you tell everyone kind of which camp you've been to, what type of camp, what role, all the bits and bobs?
Yeah, so I go to a small camp in West Virginia called Camp Tall Timbers. It's just over the border from Virginia. It's family owned, very small. We have max 100 campers at one point, so we all sort of chip in and get involved in everything. That's what really sold me for it, because instead of just being a bunk counsellor, I'm also a teacher. So my first summer I went in as a general and I did bunk. I taught dance and drama, and I was also a lifeguard, so a bit of everything. I went back for my second summer last year as a head counsellor, so I moved into the admin team, which I loved, and I'm going back again in the same role for my third summer.
Fantastic. And how has like the years changed? You know, if you rewind back to your first year, then obviously going back to camp this year, have you noticed like a change in yourself, a change in the people going to camp? Is it more popular than what it was? How have you found it?
Yeah, so obviously the kids are somewhat the same, which was amazing, and I really underestimated how much I would love that. I decided to go back again because I loved the experience as a counsellor. I thought, I'll give being a head counsellor a go. That's a little bit of more of a progression. I needed into the salary bump as well, so it made it more viable. So I went back, had a bigger role, so more responsibility. I wasn't in the cabins anymore, so that was very different. So I found my relationships with the staff was slightly different, but almost better in a different sense of the word, because I made more relationships with the admin team, the actual the staff, the counsellors. I found my relationship with the kids developed because they came back and they're like, oh my God, my counsellor's now a head counsellor. This is amazing. And I had more power. So they were like, we know Jess, she's got the power. We want to be best friends with her. That was kind of cute, seeing my kids get out of the car and then being like, she's back. Because I always said that I was one and done. I was never going back. And then, well, obviously I did. So that completely changed it slightly. I mean, the camp is getting popular every year on year, which is great. So we're getting more kids in, we're getting younger kids in. So that's great to see them coming through, because I had the oldest campers for a season. So my kids are now becoming staff members, which is insane. This year I'll get to work with some of my campers as junior counsellors, which will be amazing. So yeah, every year that's sort of progressing, and when I go back next year and do a fourth summer, it will just progress even further, and I think that's just so exciting.
Oh my God, so is this a 4th year already confirmed?
Not confirmed. We'll see how this year goes. I mean, my current plans haven't written it off.
Good.
But yeah, we'll see how this year goes. I mean, it's an ACA year, so we need to get our accreditation again, so it's going to be full on for admin. Yeah, so whether that sells me or whether that I'm like, oh no, I think I'm done, we'll see.
Well, a lot of people do say one and done, and I feel like a lot of people who even inquire just about summer camp work, they think it is just a 1-year program and you're just done and that's it. And what I always like to say to people is, I feel like you have to guarantee yourself at least 2 years, because the difference from your first year to your second year is leaps and bounds. It is actually crazy, especially with the fact that you said the relationship with other leadership staff changes. And it does,
massively.
because I went my first year as just a specialist in gymnastics, and then my second year I went as the director of gymnastics. So I was kind of the same boat as you, where the kids knew that I was a director, I was in charge of staff, and my relationship with head staff changed as well, where it was just a bit more informal with them, and I could actually just talk to them about anything instead of being like, oh my God, there's blah blah, I need to make sure I'm doing this and doing that. But I think that's the same thing even as just a returner in general, where when you go back to your second year, these head staff recognize you, they know who you are, and they're a little bit not lenient, but they understand they wouldn't have invited you back if you weren't good enough anyway. So they're going to put the magnifying glass on the first year counsellors and not returning counsellors.
Yeah, and that's so key, having that they invited you back bit is not only do you know the camp, you know most of the kids, you know how it works, you know the schedule, you also know you're wanted there and that you did such a good job first year. So for me, that kind of sold my return, because I'd always said the whole summer, every time a kid asked, the leadership asked, my counsellors asked, are you going back? It was no. I was like, no, I mean, I've just graduated uni. It was the end of a gap year. I need to go to work. I'm done. It was sort of grab the experience while I can. And then on my last day, when we got handed the checks and we were all sort of ready to go to the airport, I got pulled aside by the camp owner and the camp director into his office, and I was like, oh no, what's going on? And they basically were talking to me about next summer and the plans, and the owner turned to me and went, Jess, we'd love to have you back as program director, as one of our head counsellors, to help us run and like make the camp better and bigger and better. And that was, to me, I was like, oh my God. So I sat on that for weeks, and I was thinking, oh, that's such a cool offer, and the fact that he pulled me aside and seen what I'd been doing throughout the summer. I did get more sort of, what's the word? Responsibility as the summer went on. So we have 3 sessions, and each session you get a different timetable, and I found that I was getting pulled more into like admin side because we had a small admin team. So I thought it was like, oh, I can see where this is coming from and where it's going to lead to. But having that confirmation that we love working with you and we'd like you back, that was what really sold it. I was like, okay, maybe I found my place here. Like maybe it's cool to like just run with this and see how it goes. I might hate it, I might love it. And that was another worry, like going back as leadership from when you were a normal counsellor, there is a big jump. And you won't have the same relationships with the other counsellors because you are part of leadership. And that was very difficult. But yeah, it's challenges, but there was so many benefits from doing it that way as well.
And loads of people don't actually know that with most camps you have to get invited back. Like, it's not something where you can just be like, yep, I want to go back next year, like I'm going to go to this camp. Like, these camps will have hundreds of applicants like every single season, and they have to be very selective with who they choose. And if you go to like a really big private traditional camp like I did, there's like a wait list for counsellors, and if you aren't like up to scratch, like you will not be invited back, and you'll have to find another camp. And I think that's what a lot of first year counsellors don't know. And I feel like you are such a good person to speak to regarding first year counsellors, because obviously you do brand ambassador work, is that right? Do you do interviews? So Jess obviously does interviews for first time applicants to see if they're the right fit for the program. And I love having a podcast with the brand ambassador because I like to go a little bit in depth about, you know, the application process and things like that. So I think I'm going to segue onto Jess. What would you say as a first time applicant to maybe like stand out a little bit, or how to just have like the perfect kind of initial application when speaking to someone like you?
So for the agency stage, so before you even think about what camp you want, where you want to go to, I would say you need all your skills. You are your biggest marketer. Because I've interviewed so many people that come on, they're so shy, and as part of us as brand ambassadors, we are trained to sort of pull the good stuff out of you as well, because we sometimes, like, it could be your first interview with us or your first interview in general. We interview 18-year-olds who've never gone for jobs like this before, and they're so worried, they're so shy, and you undersell yourself. Like, do not undersell yourself. We are trying to sell you to camps as well, so we need you to sell yourself to us first. And that's the biggest thing. I'm like, they're like, oh, I don't want to brag. I'm like, brag away. Like, tell me everything. Like, you were gymnastics, you were a national. Like, tell me all about that. You've competed in football tournaments in Amsterdam for your country. Tell me about that. Like, they write it as like a tiny bit. Oh, and I did this. I'm like, no. That is the key part of reputation, because that is what makes you a top applicant for AmeriCamp to then for us to sell you to other camps. Because like, I don't see that side of things, but I see you as a candidate, and I'm like, come in and sell yourself. Like, do not be try and be bashful. Like, don't be shy. Like, write every single achievement you've ever had and sell it all. Because I underestimate that massively when I went through the process. Because I was like, oh, I did gymnastics for 11 years. Oh, I did this. Oh, I used to help with these classes. No, that's what they want to see. Like, put that in as the top and like big yourself up, every sort of accomplishment. I mean, don't oversell yourself. Like, I can't ride a horse. I would never say I could. But if you can, oh my God, talk about that. Because the amount of people I've interviewed and we've gone on to other stuff and they haven't put it as their skills. Like, I interviewed a black belt in something, I think it was like Taekwondo. And I was like, why is that not one of your skills? And he was like, oh, because it's a hobby. I'm like, no, like, come on.
Yeah, it's needed.
I was like, maybe you should change your organization.
Yeah, it's needed, and we need to break that chain, because you see it from the initial application stage, and we in the head office see it from like the actual application stage, like when it's going to camps. And people still do it. And I'm like, oh my God, why are you just talking about this skill in such little amounts when it's such a transferable skill? And I think people don't realize that at camp, because we work with hundreds of camps around the US, there is a job for everyone. Like, if you have a niche skill, we will be able to find you it. We have camps now that have like robotics specialists. We have Dungeons and Dragons specialists, which is crazy. Computing, science, like literally anything that you think you have a niche in, You'll be able to find it. It's
We can
crazy.
sell it. Because on the flip side, I get people that are like, oh, hopefully when I get in, I'll see you there. And I'm like, you're not quite grasping how many camps there are. And
Yes.
I'm like, this is amazing because they're like, oh, they'll say, oh, there won't be a place for me. What if all the spaces are gone? And I was like, it's December, the spaces aren't gone. Because I don't think you realise how many camps there are.
Yeah.
And like that, there's also, so my camp director says this, because when she hires people that she thinks aren't the typical, she's like, no, because we need them because we've got kids that aren't the typical. We've got kids that have niches. We need counselors and campers to match.
Exactly.
So we had my camp last year. We had a big thing about flags. We had a couple of kids that were obsessed with flags of the world. We had a counsellor who knew them all, and he was then pulled in and been like, "We need you to run a session for all these kids because that's what they want to do. They want to do like a trivia night with flags." And that was so niche but so amazing, and these kids loved it.
Yeah. There is literally a niche for everything. It's crazy. And I just think that's why I want everyone to do it. I'm like, if you're a young adult and you just want to experience something that is so out of the norm of normal UK life, like even if you don't think you have a skill, you probably do. And we get to the point where it gets to, like February time and some people aren't placed still, and it always happens. And usually it's like very young girls who just don't have like a lot of transferable skills. And what we'll say to them is like, just go away and try and like get something to add to your repertoire, I guess. Like go volunteer at a library or go to a community centre, do an after school activity or something like that involving kids just to like boost your chance as much as possible. So yeah, it's an ongoing thing and I feel like it is always going to happen, but we just have to try and educate people as much as possible to how you can improve your application really. What I'm going to ask Jess, obviously you brought that up about the flags, which I think is such a fun little memory of camp. Have you been twice now or are you going for the third year?
This will be third year, so I've done 2 summers.
Cool. So out of your 2 summers that you've just done, what would you say is one like core memory? If you can itch back, is there something that, when someone says to you summer camp, you're like, oh my God, this?
Oh my God, that's such a hard question, but such a cool question.
I always ask that. It's so hard.
Yes, but it's also general. So we do this thing every session. So I've done it 6 times now, but it's still an absolute core memory every time it happens. Yeah. And the first time it happened, I was like, what is this? So we do a thing called Ghost Court, and I'm not convinced it's just a me thing, like my camp thing, but I never know. Like I listen to his podcasts and people say stuff that I'm like, we don't do that, or we do that, and they think it's a them thing. I don't know. It's called Ghost Court. So essentially at the end of every session, we try our kids for crimes, and then we give them punishments. And it sounds crazy, but it's so much fun. So we do a new activity as usual, and then the ghosts come out, and they're always CITs, which is our counsellors in training. So they are our oldest campers, and they live for this thing. They get involved in a few of the evening activities. It's making points, and when they work through camp, they want to do it. So they're so excited. So they become in as ghosts. So say we're doing like I don't know, skit night. We'll all be in the theatre, and then all of a sudden the lights will go out, and every kid like screaming, going crazy because they know it's ghost court. And these ghosts run in, they've got bed sheets over them, torches, and they're like, it's ghost court. And we all go down to the lake. And when we're at the lake, it's set up as a court. So we've got all the Halloween decorations out. It's pitch black. It's amazing. The fire's going. And we've got our camp director as a skeleton dressed up behind her judge table. And then we try the kids. So it could be, we had a few that was like, we had 3 kids got tried together for writing too much mail. Okay. And receiving too much mail from their family and friends. We said they were too loved. And they were birds from the American postal system. So their punishment was to write a love letter to our postman to thank him for giving all the mail. Oh. And that was that's sort of like funny things like that. We've had last summer we had 5 jacks in one session from across the age ranges. So we tried them for being too many jacks, like it's ridiculous, like get a new name. That. So we renamed them for the day, and we had them wear my name is name badges with new names. So it's something, it's never mean, it's never, the kids love it. If they get tried, it's the best thing ever. Yeah. We try whole cabins for like, you love Taylor Swift too much, we talk about boys too much, love that sort of stuff. And they get punishments over the next 2 days. Sometimes it's like things we have to do for the whole camp, like performances. We need one girl that likes to stand up and be like, I say this, I want to do this. So we made her read the Declaration of Independence out, dressed as a founding father. Love that. So I used to like that, and the kids live for it. Like we had a kid cry last year because she didn't get ghost tried. She wasn't a part of it, and that makes you feel bad. So we try and include as many kids as possible. And then because now part of Adam and I saw the behind the scenes of this, so we let the counsellors sort of elect their kids to say, they did this, give us more insight to what happened in the cabin, and then we pick the best ones and sort of make the punishments so they're not cruel. It's all sort of fun and games. And then if they can opt out of doing the punishments, and we call it a fair game if they opt out, and that means they just get pushed in the pool. So there's also stuff like that, and that was because when the first time it happened, I had no idea what it was. I had kids laughing, like giggling at me, like, "Oh my God, I think it's going to be ghost court tonight." And the director just sort of briefed us with counsel and said, "It's going to be ghost court," but just saying that, I was like, I have no idea what this means.
No.
And then being like ushered down to the lake and seeing it all, and then hearing it, and I was like, this is incredible. And seeing how, because I had the 5-year-olds at that point, like the 5-7-year-olds, my babies, they were so excited, and they were brand new too. And that every single time it happened is an absolute core memory of how much the kids love it, how much the counsellors love it, how fun it is. And I'm like, that is camp in a nutshell of like, we try our kids and we give them punishments from a ghost. It's like 9 p.m. at night by the lake. Like it wraps up camp's craziness, I think.
I love that. That is just gorgeous.
It's so much fun.
I love hearing everyone's different traditions at camp because they're just so varied, aren't they? Like, I think me and you, Jess, come from complete opposite, like, spectrums of, like, the camp bubble, I guess. Like, you come from, like, a very small, like, community-based camp, which I would love to experience at some point. Like, I'd love to be in a camp that's really tiny, because my camp was 350 staff, 650 kids, absolutely mental. So like our traditions, we did loads of traditions as well. And as a first year counsellor, like it's really daunting, isn't it? Like even though it's exciting, I feel like you really don't know what it is. All the returners are chatting about it. The kids are like looking at you like, oh, he doesn't know anything. And then you kind of just have no clue the full summer, but that's what makes your first summer a bit more exciting, I feel as well.
Because you are almost a camper too. Like there's so many things that happen. Like initiation we do that at our camp, and that's like the biggest camp secret. And then when we got pulled into it, but we're initiated too, so we were hidden away with the new campers, and then we weren't told any of the secrets as new staff members. And then we got ushered down, and it was initiation. And I was like, "What is this?"
Oh my God!
Because you bits like that, like obviously colour war. So when it breaks out, we keep it a secret who the generals are and who the judges are, a complete secret, unless you are a counsellor that's involved, you don't know. And you don't know the plans. That's like my first time doing, we call it Timber Games, because we're not actually to the colour war at mine. That got like, they weren't allowed to do that anymore. So we call it Timber Games, so it's Capital Timbers. So having that for the first experience was crazy, because I was like, oh my God, what is this? It's so much fun. And camp on the whole, I think you come home and you try and explain the story to people, and then they look at you like, what is this?
That is so true. I remember in my first year, we do a thing called Olympics, which is like, it's like a 1-day version of Colour War. So we still do Colour War, which is 5 days, but we do Olympics, which is just 1 day to like warm up to it. And we have like advisor roles, which is like where counsellors are like chosen to like represent that team, and it's like this massive honour. And my first year, I remember like the boys' head counsellor took me to the side on one evening and was like, Harry, just to let you know, you are going to be an advisor tomorrow. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, can I go at the bathroom now? And he was like, do you know what it is? And I was like, I actually have no clue what you're on about. And then he started explaining, he was like, it's a huge honour, you're a first year counsellor, like this is really good. And then it was literally the best day ever. And you know, everyone was like showering praises, being like, oh my God, so well deserved, this is amazing. And like other counsellors who came back the next year would be like, oh my God, he was an advisor. And then you come home and you tell people and they're like, all right, cool.
That sounds fun. I'm like, no, you don't get it.
You don't get it. Like you have to, it's just so niche, isn't it? I honestly, I don't know anything else that is just so niche. It's crazy.
But then the amount of people that you say, oh, I went to summer camp, and they're like, oh my God, I know so-and-so that did that. Do you know them? And I'm like, no, I don't know them. Like, I doubt I've never crossed paths.
Or people, when they think AmeriCamp is just one camp, they're like, so where's this based? I'm like, every state except Hawaii and Alaska. Like, we're everywhere.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Or they'll be like, oh, my niece is doing that. Like, I wonder if you guys will know each other. I'm like, no. And then, but then you meet them and you chat to them, and I'm like, we have very similar experience, but also very different.
Yes. And also,
it's like a community of people that have been out and done it.
Yes, and I feel like
you're saying, I understand what you're saying, even though we didn't have the same experience at all.
Yes, and every camp is very designed for like specific people. Like I say that my camp that I went to is perfect for me because I love the massive events and I'm very sociable and I love the 350 staff. But then, you know, like there's Girl Scout camps where if you're a Girl Scout in the UK, that's perfect for you. And like even though everyone has been to summer camp, like they're just so different in like so many ways. It's nuts. But I love it though. It's like just such a nice community to be a part of as well.
Yeah, because you can relate and you can talk and be like, oh yeah, we do something similar, or I completely get that. That makes 100%.
Exactly. So how many days is it until you fly, Jess? It must be soon.
It was 3 weeks yesterday.
Oh my gosh,
So
20 days.
yeah, 20 days
Oh,
until I fly out.
that is
I'm
so
so excited.
exciting. Are you packed? Have we got everything ready?
No, no, I
Great.
actually go on holiday tomorrow for a family holiday, so I need to pack for that first.
Right.
And then when I get back, I have about a week to sort of get myself together. I did go to the embassy on Friday, so the visa side and all the document side is done.
Nice.
Just waiting for my passport to get posted back to me. But that side's done, so that's like a massive relief.
Good.
I mean, my flight's booked, so that's ready to go. And then my everything on the other side when I land is all sorted. It's just, I've got to actually pack now. But yeah, it's very exciting and I can't wait.
Like a true counsellor leaving the pack until a week before. I really relate. Yeah.
It'll be fine. I mean, it's third summer, so I sort of know what to expect. And also, there's always Walmart, so I just buy stuff out there.
100%. Yeah. What are you kind of most excited and most nervous about for this summer then, going into your third year? Is there anything prominent?
Oh, yeah, so I've already started doing some planning. So part of my role is, so we have multiple head councils that all get split up, and we either have like you're part of the safeguarding where you're more involved with the kids, or you're part of the planning. I'm on the planning side, so my role is more scheduling, even activities. I plan timber games, like colour war, all that sort of stuff. Day trips, I'm in charge of like who's on which bus. So I'm in more of like the logistics side of things, which I love. So I've already started thinking of like, we do theme Saturday days where the Saturday is completely off timetable and we do a full theme day. We do evening activities, and last year I brought in a few ideas, but this year I want to be bigger and better and bring in like amazing new ideas, because I find, I don't know whether your camp was similar, my camp we do 3 sessions, we sort of got into a routine of doing the same stuff every time, just repeating it.
Yeah.
And it got quite boring, and like I'm now on the 3rd rotation of kids, so I'll have kids that I've seen every single summer, and I'm like, I don't want them to have the exact same experience again. You want bits of the same stuff, but you sort of want new stuff coming in. It's like last year, my biggest win, and my bosses loved it. I bought over Disco Bingo. So, if you've heard of like Bongos Bingo,
yeah, of course,
like the boozy version, I did that a few times with friends. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And one time I was sat in there thinking, Camp would die for this.
That's so true. Without the alcohol,
Camp would die. Without the alcohol, without the adult humour and all that sort of stuff that goes on with it, I was like, at its core, Camp would love this. Yeah. So I took it to my bosses, who, one of them is a Brit, but has been over in the States for 25 years. And I was like, this is before your time, but you're going to love this.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite realise there's 2 bingo systems. So I had to hand make bingo cards to fit what I wanted to do by mixing the 2 systems together.
Right.
So that was fun. That was a couple of days of work.
Yeah.
But it went off, and it was honestly incredible. I turned our art shack into like a club with like strobe lights and coloured lights. And we did Disco Bingo for the evening, and the kids were like, this is amazing, because they've never done it before. Yeah. And like when it's novelty, sometimes it either flops or they think it's so cool because it's new. So this year I've already started planning. I'm like, right, we're going to bring in this. I want to do this. I want to do that. So that's sort of, I'm so excited to like get my timetables back, and that is my responsibility. So it'll be like so much fun to be like, I've come in with all these ideas and all these plans to make it bigger and better for my 3rd year. And yeah, because I think last year I was so new to the role. My first session, I was sort of swimming, like you just survive, and I was like, oh, it was good, but it wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was okay. Whereas this year, I want to be like, no, I know the role now. Like I've had the jump off. I've already dealt with the whole like social side of things, and like where do I stand, my relationship with the admins, the other ones. So now I'm like, okay, now you can excel and like bring out like the best of the best, and have them like want you back forever, even if I'm like done. I'm like, no, I want you to like. Like Jess was amazing. She did a great job.
Yeah, it's a new chapter now. If you think like you went through your first year, that role's gone. Second year, you were getting used to it. This year, you are like fully in tune with yourself. You know exactly what the summer's going to be like, and I feel like you're just going to have the best summer ever. I can't wait for you. It's so exciting.
I hope so. Got good plans, so it should be good.
Yes. Well, honestly, it's been fabulous having you on the podcast today, Jess. I've absolutely loved it.
Thank you for having me.
Went through just so many good points as well. I just love how we can show our differences in camps, but also like relate to each other on pretty much every level as well, as every counsellor should, which is amazing.
Yeah.
If people kind of have any questions regarding anything we've spoke about today, is there any way that they can kind of reach out to you, Jess, on like any socials? Like, do you have any socials that you can kind of plug?
Yeah, so I do run a blog, Instagram account, all about sort of travel and traveling on a budget, including like camp and doing stuff like camp. So it's called the Freehold Explorer. So probably the best place to find me is Instagram. That's where I'm most prominent. But yeah, my email's on my website if you want to like reach out by that. I'm always looking to answer questions at camp. I will always chat about it. I will probably talk your ear off. So yeah, feel free to like DM me anything you've got about questions. And yeah, I share stuff over that. So I'll be sharing my journey and probably a few like daily vlogs of how I get on and like the life in an admin role compared to like a counsellor role and sort of how my camp gets on.
And that'll be so interesting for people to read as well, because I feel like not a lot of people understand the other roles than just like general specialist things like that. So that's definitely something to.
And it becomes a more viable sort of travel solution and sort of job at this point, because as you rise through the ranks, you do get pay rises. So that always helps.
Exactly. Yeah. When I went for my second year, I got obviously a pay rise because I was a director. So that's definitely something. So watch out for Jess's blog, everyone. When she posts that, and then you can read all about it. It'll be great. So yeah, that's how you can find Jess. If anyone wants to reach out to us directly on AmeriCamp, you can message us on any social media platform. You can email us, or you can give us a call as well, and we'll be happy to kind of speak to anyone. Obviously, we are very, very close to the 2025 season, as Jess said, so people are flying out now already. People are already in the US, which is crazy. So anyone listening who is going to camp this year, best of luck. Hope you all have the best time. If there's anyone who is thinking of going for 2026, I think from me and Jess, we would just say, just do it. You might as well. Just put that deposit down and just think about it closer at the time. And, you know, what will be, will be. But yeah, that is pretty much everything from me and everything from Jess. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll catch you all on the next episode of Around the Campfire. So bye, everybody.